Hello and welcome back to RageGamingVideos. My name is Olo, and today we're talking about the buffed Colossal weapons, which is why I'm holding one. And that leads to the question, which is the best Colossal weapon to use? This one is the one that I would suggest to get straight to the point. This is the Colossal Sword, awkwardly named the Greatsword. It was already the third highest AR strength weapon before the patch, but as I recently spoke about, I think it has one of the best movesets of all of the Colossal weapons, thanks to these sweeps that are very good in AoE or single target. You've got really high damage for stagger damage with your plunge attacks, and of course, it has the crouch poke, which is nuts in PvE if you can stagger an enemy over and over, which you can in many cases, or just in PvP. It's one of the best attacks you can try to do for roll catching. I think this is the most versatile option for your high AR strength weapons. Say the Giant's Crusher. Yeah, it is number one in the AR, the bigger raw numbers, but its moveset is literally just hammer slam, hammer slam, hammer slam. Doesn't matter whether you're doing light attacks, heavy attacks, whatever roll attack, it's going to be a hammer slam. And while that is fun and even funny, I want to pick the best option, right? The one that isn't going to have issues in certain situations, but yeah, is more of an all-rounder and is more likely to work. Therefore, the Greatsword here, that fits that bill in spades. So let's talk about stats and what has actually improved here. With the new patch, they have buffed up Colossal weapons as a whole. They have taken their attack speed and increased it. And let me tell you, I feel it. I really feel it with the light attacks. 100%. This is faster. It's really good. But then you've got faster recovery time. This is really important. So when I attack, I can roll much faster than previously, meaning I can attack an enemy, say a boss, and then as it's about to hit me, right, I can actually evade it instead of having to just tank the damage. What a privilege. They've also apparently increased the two-handed damage of your Colossal weapons. Once again, that doesn't include the jump attack, but all the others. The thing is, I don't know, I'm not really sure I'm feeling that. And I actually went and looked at all footage I had compared to now, and I have the same AR as before, 844. So it's not reflected in the actual stats, at the very least with the AR, but I guess all we can do is trust that they have actually buffed the damage. I do wonder if they made a mistake, but yeah, I don't know. At the very least, the attack speed is there and it feels great, and apparently they've buffed the damage. They've also done another thing which is kind of nice. They've increased the physical block rate of your Colossal weapons. So take the Greatsword here. It has a physical block of 84. That's actually really good. Your parry shields, the small shields, they have around 70 to 80, while your medium shields, we have 80 to 100. So yeah, it's comparable to some of the medium shields here. As a weapon that you can just block with, that's really nice and something I was already doing, but now it benefits me more. To get specific though, your light attacks with Colossal weapons are faster. Your heavy attacks are faster as well, but a very small amount, but it is faster. Your crouch poke is the same speed that it was before patch, as well as your running light, it's the same speed as before patch. Now I pulled out a second Colossal Sword, I just want to show you the power stance L1. This has had its attack speed increased significantly. Compared to how it was before, this is much faster. So power stancing is also much more viable than it used to be, even though yeah, a lot of the patch buffs were about two-handing specifically. It's all very exciting, but now let's talk about this weapon in specific, because it's so good for its moveset, but its AR is 844. What can we do about that? Well, to start with, we can fire grease the weapon and then say take a wondrous physic that's going to enhance the power of fire damage. 946, 102 increase, not too shabby. Then we slap on the all-important incantation, Flame Grant Me Strength, that enhances both physical and fire affinity. So we're up to 1,135 AR on a weapon this versatile, with a weapon with this good of a moveset. I'm telling you, man, this is seriously good, and this is why it's my top pick, just with its stats with this and its moveset. Here are my stats. I'm level 150. I have my 60 vigor, which I think is kind of required for PvP, but certainly not required for PvE. A little bit of mind, not too important. Endurance is just for my armor set for this video. You can run whatever you want. Strength at 66 is absolutely vital if you are two-handing a strength weapon. Once again, with the 1.5 times multiplier, what that does is it takes your strength from 66 to 99, which is the hard cap. So when I am one-handing, I'm at 66 strength, 761 AR. When I am two-handing, it is giving me that 1.5 times multiplier, 66 to 99. I'm at the hard cap now, up to 844. So if you are two-handing a strength weapon like this, 66 strength is what you want. You don't want to go higher than that. However, the soft cap at 80 is probably your best bet if you're going to do power stancing, like I'm saying is good now. You want the soft cap because you're going to be one-handing both in power stance rather than two-handing them and getting that multiplier. Dex does not matter at all. I just put some points into that because I had them left over. And then we have the 15 faith for flame grant me strength. As you can see though, I have some other incantations here. These are, of course, the beast incantations. Beast Claw, Garang's Beast Claw, Bestial Sling, Stone of Garang, and even Bestial Vitality here as well. The reason that I have these incantations is because they benefit from strength, and Colossal builds, you're likely using strength, aren't you? Bestial incantations use the Claw Mark seal. As you can see, it boosts bestial incantations. But, very uniquely and interesting, it scales with both faith and strength. So, as you're using a strength build, this is perfect. This gives you access to those different incantations I was showing. So Sling is great. It's a really quick, short range sort of burst. This shotgun style of throwing out some pocket sand, some little rocks, it interrupts enemies really well. Chips out nice damage. And in PvP, that is a really good incantation. One of the most popular because it's so good at catching people out and chipping them out. We have Beast Claw as a conal kind of ranged option, which is fine, not incredible. Garang's Beast Claw, this was buffed this patch. It does more damage, and there's a faster recovery time to get you out of the animation after you've done it. That is good, and very good in AoE. We have the long-range Stone of Garang, the long-range stone throw. I love that ability. Look at that. Super cool. Good utility, like that one. And then lastly, Bestial Vitality. This just heals you over time. It's fine. You just pop it on. You got some healing over time. Nice in all content. But I also have Pest Threads here because it only requires 11 faith to use and is one of the top incantations in the game. It's super good tracking, super good range, and super good damage. In PvP, I absolutely love this thing. I pop it, and then I run them down, and it's super fun. Or I can just spam it, and it tracks on them really well, and does good damage. So yeah, it's a really good incantation. But here's the kicker, right? All of these things work with a low faith, high strength build. And every incantation I just showed you is buffed up by Flame Grant Me Strength. It boosts your physical damage. All of these beast incantations alongside Pest Threads are actually physical damage incantations. So every one of them, while you're buffed up with Flame Grant Me Strength, deals more damage, giving you a load of range and interesting utility for your strength build you otherwise wouldn't normally have. So I really recommend these for any strength, any Colossal build. But now let's talk about some interesting extras you can run with this weapon or other weapons, and as well, actually, Ash of Wars. We should talk about Ashes of War. To kick us off then, we're talking about the Ash of War Lion's Claw. This received a buff in the new patch, which is interesting because I thought it was good beforehand. It now has increased cast speed and decreased recovery time. It's essentially a front flip with a slam. It's super cool and very gutsy, perfect for this weapon. It's way faster. To give you a actual comparison, you could do 4 flips now in the time that on the old patch, you would have done only 3. As well as, very importantly, the recovery. So you're able to get out of it and avoid the incoming blow. This is super good as an Ash of War because it puts out your damage really quick. You're quite mobile, able to do some damage here, as you can see in this boss fight. I'm blasting damage with this thing. And as an Ash of War, when you're spamming it, you can stagger bosses with it. Just like a jumping R2, but it's better. It's more effective. It does more damage. It's more reliable. You have hyper armor when you're doing it. So if you do trade when you're doing it, you still get the damage out. It is an incredible pick if you can run it on your Colossal weapon, and certainly on the Greatsword. I absolutely love this thing in PvE. It's just so fun to use and so effective. It's definitely one of my top suggestions for your Ash of War. Next is definitely Giant Hunt, and this is what it is. A charge forward and an uppercut. That is an incredible Ash of War, and one that I would see fairly commonly in PvP. It does a lot of damage. I was one-shotting people or, you know, doing most of their health at very least in PvP. Now, in this patch, it has been buffed. It has better recovery time. So yes, as I do that animation, I can actually get out of it instead of being stuck in it forever, which is wonderful in all content. Man. I mean, goddamn, dude, it's effective. I just did some quick PvP with the Giant's Hunt to show you just how effective and how much damage it actually does. It's just gonna be 2 quick clips. As you can see, I hit the first person, it just absolutely chunks out their health, you know, big damage. And then the second person, I guess it was a vigor check for them. They don't have enough vigor. It did over 1,400 damage, and that was more than their health pool, so they just died. But yeah, you're probably wondering, well, actually, how the hell did you just do that to them? Or maybe you know. How did you put them to sleep? I'm using a specific weapon. I'm using the pulley crossbow. This crossbow fires off 3 quick shots very quickly. Let me just change my camera so you can see it. So it fires off 3 shots very quickly, and if you're using sleep bolts, what will happen is if you actually hit enough of those, I think it's like 3 of them within reasonable time, in PvP, that will mini stun the enemy, and then during that time I just 2-hand and Giant's Hunt guarantee the hit because they're slept, and I do stupid damage or even one-shot them. So yeah, that's the pulley bow, fully upgraded, using the sleep bone bolts, which require thin beast bones and Trina's lilies to craft. Extremely effective in PvP, clearly, but also a very nice, versatile thing to have in PvE, say against any godskin to fully sleep them, or mini-stun any enemy you're fighting like a boss, and then just give them the Giant's Hunt for sure. The next Ash of War I will suggest to you, but this time I'm loath to do it. Bloodhound Step. It is a incredible Ash of War that gives you stupid iframes, really crazy mobility. Let me show you. So these are your roll frames, right? You get reasonable distance and some iframes on that. Bloodhound Step is like a slide. It's kind of double the distance. It costs a little bit of FP to do. It's ridiculous. People spam this in PvP. It's very annoying, hard to catch them. You kind of have to wait for them to run out of FP. In PvE, it's incredible as a tool to evade certain attacks, or even move through, say, poison swamps or rot swamps that would slow you normally, but then you can just dash through them, or use quick step for the same benefit. It is useful. I think it's a bit obnoxious and overused in PvP because it is so strong, and I kind of would like to see it get some kind of balancing. What's funny is you can use it with any colossal weapon, right, that can actually have an Ash of War in it. Take, say, the Greatsword here. The attack that you do when you come out of it is basically the best sword attack you have. It's the poke. That is the best PvP attack you have for sure. I do a lot of crouch poking in PvP because it's so good. Well, it just means I have double the mobility, iframes, and I can just be like poke, move, poke, move, poke. Honestly, this is ridiculous. It's hilarious. You can use it on any, like, the big colossal weapons that have Ashes of War, and it's very effective, clearly. Last, I want to tell you about Troll's Roar, which was, yeah, for a colossal weapon, it was powerful. The problem was that it was so insanely slow that you would just never really hit it. Certainly not in PvP, and in PvE in many cases. It's just so slow. However, thankfully, in this patch, Troll's Roar saw a buff. It now costs less stamina to use, it has much better cast speed on the follow-up input anyway, and it also increases the distance traveled. So let's have a look at it. So we have the first input, the Roar, which is a nice AoE stagger. You have the follow-up hit, which is this downward slam. That comes out much faster. And, like I say, you travel nicely forward as well, compared to before. Let's try it on this poor old knight on his horse. Here's the Roar. Big damage, big stagger, 1,800 on the follow-up. That's nearly 2,000 on a single hit. That is big damage. Let's try it on a boss. All right, just with Flame Grant Me Strength, let's give it a go. So he's going to do his Roar. Here's my Roar, 1,100 there. And the follow-up hit, 1,100 and an instant stagger. I think that's not bad at all. Definitely more likely to work in PvE still. But yeah, now it will actually work. Now it's viable in PvE and big damage. In PvP, you can definitely get the Roar, but I just don't really see you getting that follow-up hit. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to give it a go in a quick AoE scenario. Let's see if they interrupt me when I do it. Here we go. Yep, so before I can get the Roar off, I can be hit and broke out of that by, yeah, basically any attack. But if I do get the Roar off, it's going to be nice AoE and slam. I do have hyper armor on the attack follow-up. That's nice. So you might not have it on the Roar, but you do have it while you're doing the step forward and slam. So yes, good for trading, I guess, if someone's dumb enough to try that in PvP, but in PvE, that is a really good option, and pretty damn cool, actually. But there you have it, my weapon suggestion, and all the different ways you can run it, with Ashes of War, and your incantations, and buffs, even my stats advice, and consumables as well. Hopefully this serves to you as a versatile guide to give you kind of the idea of what you want to do with your Colossal weapon. While I definitely suggest the Greatsword, and personally I prefer, say, Lion's Claw here, the wonderful flip, or of course Giant's Hunt as another great option, you can see that there are other options, other playstyles that are very strong, and you should consider them. If you would like us to do more experimentation and give you an overview like this in future content for other stuff that's been changed in the patch, please drop a like on the video so I know I can make those. For now though, I've been Hollow, you've been you. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.